We're taking a look at this tripod today from Manbily because that's the name they decided to go with, I guess. But aside from the silly name, this is actually a really competent and well-built tripod. This is a little heavier than what I would consider a light-duty tripod. So this is not something that you're going to want to take on an all-day hike. But as far as like being a good content creator's tripod, this is actually really very well built. It's nice and just heavy enough, so it's going to be a lot of good support for your like mirrorless and DSLR cameras and things on the consumer to even prosumer end. I'm 5'10" tall, so the maximum height that this will go up to is a little bit taller than I am, so I'd say that's probably about 6 feet tall, and this comes down. Another thing that I really like about this a lot that my newer tripod, but what it didn't have was the ability to bring this up like this and then fold this out to do an overhead shot. So what you can do is put your camera on the end of this, and it does come with a ball head and an Arca Swiss mount. It also comes with 2 Arca Swiss plates, so that's nice and handy. But what you can do is you can lock this in place and you can put your camera on the end here and you can do a top-down shot, which is pretty handy. Also, if you push this neck pops out and you can put this down. Then you can feed this in from the bottom and you can use this to do like ground macro shots and things like that. Speaking of ground macro shots, if you need to, you can fold these legs way out and get way down if you need to. And these latches are made out of a heavy-duty aluminum. My older tripod had plastic, I believe, and not anywhere near as strong as what these are. So that's an upside. I would say as far as the quality of build goes, this is a vast step above the newer tripod that I have, and close but not quite on par with what you would find from like Manfrotto. The legs are easy enough to operate, but I would say that because it's new, they're not quite broken in yet, so they slide easy enough, but they're sliding more easy the more I use it, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. They're going to be a little bit stiff when you first get it, but the more you use it, they're going to loosen up. So when you first get it, it definitely is going to take a little bit of using it to get those legs to loosen up, but the more I use it, the more the legs do loosen up. Another thing that I really like about this tripod, well, before I go on, this is the minimum height, but another thing that I like about this tripod is that this leg comes off and you can then put the ball head on here and use this as a monopod. So that's pretty handy. Actually, I use a monopod a lot more than I do a tripod. I kind of like to be on the go and not film myself as much, so I don't always need a tripod, but a monopod is always really handy to have. This tripod also comes with a fairly nice bag. It's not the greatest I've seen, but it's a lot better than what was included with my newer tripod. And in the bag, we also get this extra bag of hardware, which it comes with a second Arca Swiss plate, which is nice. It also comes with these ground spikes, so if you are going to film on exclusively grass, you can remove these feet, screw in these ground spikes, and stake it right down into the grass and get a little bit more stable shot that way if you need to. So rain's coming, wind is kicked up, and storm is on its way, so I'm going to wrap this one up. As far as final thoughts go, I like it. I think it's a great tripod. It is what it is. It's a lot heavier than my older tripod, but it's a lot more stable than my older tripod as well. And it's a lot more heavy duty. I feel like this thing can get banged up a lot more than my older tripod. But again, like I mentioned, it is a little heavier than what I would take on an all-day hike, so keep that in mind. As far as like production work goes though, this is going to be probably your next step above newer and just a step below Manfrotto. Thanks for watching.